entire workout. The beauty of this is if you're at the gym and it's crammed, you just pick your one set of dumbbells and you can do the entire workout. Or if you have a set of dumbbells at home, then you can do this entire full body workout at home. There's going to be 10 exercises in the workout, and the exercises are split up into 5 supersets. A superset is when you combine 2 exercises together that use opposing muscle groups. The way you can make the dumbbell only workout harder is you can either up the dumbbells that you're using. So let's say you start with 15s and you're doing it for your first few weeks using only 15-pound dumbbells. You can go up to 20s and then maybe in a few more weeks up to 25s. Or you can add to the amount of sets that you're doing. So if you're starting off with 3 sets, you can up it to 4 or to 5 sets of that particular superset. Or the third way you can make this workout harder is to up the amount of reps. So if you're starting out each exercise with 10 reps, you can up it to 12 or you can up it to 15. For the dumbbell push press, you're going to grab a set of dumbbells. You're going to hike them up from your shoulders, and then you're going to drop down into a quarter squat and drive the weights overhead. So drop down and press straight up. I drop down and I press straight up. As you're doing this exercise, when you're doing that quarter squat, you want to sit back a little bit with the hips to drive the weight up. Sit back a little bit with the hips, drive the weight up. And the other thing you want to make sure of is that you're getting full extension in your arms with each rep. For Romanian deadlifts, you're going to grab your set of dumbbells. The idea with this exercise is it's a hip dominant exercise. So we're trying to get a big stretch in the muscles that comprise our posterior chain, specifically our hamstrings and our glutes. So I'm going to show you from the side first. I want to have the dumbbells pressed up against me the entire time. From here, I'm thinking of sitting my butt straight back. So my butt sits back, I go down until I feel my hamstrings lock out or I get to mid-shin. From here, I'm coming up, big squeeze with the glutes. That's 1 rep. Sit my butt back, down to mid-shin or till I feel my hamstrings lock out and squeeze in the glutes. Where this exercise can go wrong, 2 potential ways. The first one is you let the dumbbells get away from your thighs, where you're coming forward and now you'll start to see a rounding in my lower back. It's imperative that you keep the dumbbells pressed up against your thighs. And then the second one is where you're thinking of reaching down with your spine. As I reach down, notice how I'm still dragging, but I'm getting a rounding in my back. Either way, we don't want either of those things to happen. So you have to keep the dumbbells pressed against you, but sit your butt back and maintain that arch in your spine as you go up and down. From the front view, same thing, dumbbells at my sides. Notice how they're slightly angled out, so they're not straight in front of me, they're slightly angled, and I'm gonna come down mid-shin, up with a big squeeze. Down mid-shin. For triceps, push-ups with the dumbbells, you're gonna place the dumbbells approximately shoulder width apart. From here, you can choose to do your push-ups from your knees or off of your knees, whatever your skill level entails. I'm gonna drive up, I'm lowering, I wanna keep my elbows nice and tight, and then I'm gonna push the floor away from me. 1, lower down, push up 2, lower down, push up 3 for the amount of reps per squat. Dumbbell front squats, I'm going to take a set of dumbbells, rack them up by my shoulders. From here, I got my regular squat stance, feet a little wider than shoulder width apart, and I'm going to point my toes out to 15, 30 degrees. From there, I'm going to drop down into my squat, down nice and deep, come up for a squeeze. Drop down into my squat, up nice and deep, come up for a squeeze. Notice how as I do these, I'm resting the dumbbells on my shoulder. That's totally fine. If you want to hold them up and give your shoulders a little space, you can do that as well. Or you just rest them here and do your squats, like so. For dumbbell alternating front lunges, I'm going to grab my dumbbells, hold them by my side, keep my feet shoulder width apart. I'm going to lunge forward. Notice how as I lunge down, I'm grabbing the floor with that front foot and my thigh is pointing nice and straight. From here, I need a big push off to standing, and then I switch to the other side. Down, 2, down, 3. Alternating back and forth throughout the entire duration. One thing you want to note when doing those front lunges, you want to make sure as you come up, your torso stays nice and straight. So the weight will be too heavy if you find you have to arch your back to get out of that lunge. The dumbbell renegade row, I'm going to start by placing my dumbbells relatively close together. From there, I'm going to get into a push-up position, and I'm going to prop my feet out at least double shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider. The further apart my feet are, the harder the exercise becomes, but you want to do this exercise controlling your core. So as you do it, there's no rotation coming through my hips. I keep my glutes on, I keep my abs engaged as I pull from side to side to make sure there's no rotation going through my spine. So a couple reps looks like so. I'm gonna pull and I'm back, that's one. Pull and back, that's two. Again, if I wanna make it harder, I can bring my feet in a little bit, pull and back. I have to make sure that I'm not rotating through my hips. For dumbbell bent over rows, I'm gonna grab a set of dumbbells. I'm gonna bend over, keeping my spine straight and sitting my hips back. So I'm gonna sit back, spine straight. From here, I'm pulling my elbows into my hips as I pinch my shoulder blades together. 2, 3, 4, 5. When you're doing this exercise, the most important thing to pay attention to is you wanna make sure you're not rounded over at the shoulders. You wanna make sure you're getting to at least 45 degrees, and then you also wanna make sure you're getting a nice pinch in your shoulder blades as you're performing the move. For dumbbell back lunge press, you're gonna grab a set of dumbbells, you're gonna hike them up, and then from here, you perform a back lunge, and then drive the weight up. Whichever leg comes back, I'm pressing that arm as I come up. So it's press 1, come back, press 2, come back, press 3. When doing this exercise, if I ask you for 10 reps, that means you have to do 10 reps on both sides. So go to the other side, press, come back, go to the other side, press, and come back. You do all your reps on one side before switching and doing all your reps on the other side. For dumbbell squat to curl, you're gonna grab a set of dumbbells, you roll your shoulders back and have your feet shoulder width apart. I'm gonna go down into a squat, maybe not my full range squat, but fairly deep. Try and get at least a parallel. So it's down for the squat, up for the curl, and start again. Down for the squat, up for the curl. You're using the momentum from your legs as you go down into that squat to drive the weight up and perform the curl. For dumbbell drop lunges, you're gonna use a set of dumbbells. You're gonna do all your reps on one side and then switch all your reps on the other side. I'm gonna show you the drop lunge before we actually add the dumbbells to it, because there's a couple things you really wanna make sure you're doing properly in order to stay safe when doing this exercise. First and foremost, you need to make sure that your knee is staying right over top of your foot when doing the exercise. So what you don't wanna see is that knee come out nice and wide. Knee stays right over top of the foot as I perform the exercise. The other thing that you want to pay attention to is what angle are you stepping back on. So you don't want to step too far in front, but you also don't want to step straight behind so you're just doing a regular back lunge. You have to step around a 45-degree angle so you feel that stretch in your glute as you do the exercise. When I grab my dumbbells, I pin my shoulders back, I stay nice and tall, and I'm gonna reach back and come up. That's 1 rep. Back, come up, that's 2. I do all my reps on one side, and then I switch back and come up, that's 1, back and come up, that's 2.